BFM 부산영어방송.
Hello everyone, I'm James from India. Ever since I was a young boy in India, I have been surrounded by different Korean products, and this instilled a dream in me to explore Korea one day. This chance came for me in 2014 when I began attending Busan National University as a graduate student in computer engineering. I have lived in Korea for over 7 years, and I even run my own business now, a company that is developing a platform based on artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. From my experience, I can say with an absolutely certainty that Busan was the best place for me to start my business, thanks to the specialized blockchain zone. In the past 7 years, Busan has become my second home, and I obviously love it here. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign was brought to you by BFM 부산영어방송.
Want to be a friend of BFM 부산영어방송? You can chat with BFM through our Kakao Talk service. You can share your messages and photos through Kakao Talk, and you can easily become BFM's Kakao friend by searching BFM through the Find a Friend option. Come share and chat with us at BFM anytime, anywhere for free. Don't forget to add BFM 부산영어방송 to your Kakao friends list.
대한민국 인구의 5%, 이주 배경을 지닌 250만 명 이상이 함께 살고 있는 우리. 그 속에 우리 친구들이 있습니다. 승원이와 농구 대결을 좋아하는 모이브.
모이브요? 농구 진짜 잘하죠. 근데 전 못 넘어요.
뭐래? 내 집에 슛은 잘 쏴.
하늘이와 떡볶이를 먹으며 수다를 즐기는 카리나.
얘요? 얘 명고 진짜 잘 먹어요. 진짜 안 맵냐? 전혀.
민승이와 편의점 가는 걸 좋아하는 윤수도.
윤수 다른 점이요? 뭐 있냐?
글쎄?
우리에게 중요한 건 우리 모두 친구라는 사실. 우리는 모두 우리입니다. 공익광고협의회.
The time is now 2 o'clock.
Welcome to BFM News at 2. I'm David Kim. Prime Minister Han Duck-soo urged the preparations for summer natural disasters to be thorough, even to the point of seeming excessive. This call followed record rainfall this week that resulted in at least 5 deaths and forced thousands to evacuate, particularly in southern areas. He posted on social media, quote, "Showers and heat waves are expected to hit various parts of the nation alternately next week, and that to minimize loss of lives, we must prepare extensively, even if it seems excessive." On Thursday, Han visited a neighborhood with semi-basement apartments and observed the installation of flood prevention screens. He also toured a fire station to discuss operations with emergency responders. A senior official of the Financial Supervisory Service, FSS Lee Jun-soo, urged the banks to proactively control household debts. During a luncheon with the chairs of 18 banks' boards of directors, he highlighted the bank's strong performance in capital adequacy and profitability, but warned of declining fiscal soundness due to rising delinquency rates among small and medium-sized businesses caused by slowing domestic demand. He called for enhanced oversight by the boards to ensure effective risk management and maintain capital resilience against unexpected financial market shocks. He also emphasized the need for banks' active cooperation to keep household debt growth stable, aligned with the country's nominal GDP growth. In local news, yesterday afternoon, Busan Mayor Park Kyung-jun met with Koichi Mizushima, the Japanese ambassador to South Korea, at the City Hall to discuss mutual exchange and cooperation between Busan and Japan. Ambassador Mitsushima visited Busan for the first time to attend the 2024 Korea-US-Japan Global Leadership Youth Summit. Mayor Bak expressed his hopes that this event will deepen the bond between the two countries and provide a good opportunity for young people to grow into global leaders. He also mentioned that the number of tourists visiting Busan has recovered to about 67% of the pre-COVID-19 levels and emphasized the need for the embassy's help in attracting more Japanese tourists to Busan. He urged active efforts to revitalize exchanges between Busan and Japan. A 500-meter underwater breakwater will be installed in the sea-off marine city in Haeundae, Busan, an area frequently damaged by waves during typhoons. After extensive damages from Typhoon Chaba in 2016, several disaster prevention facilities were proposed but repeatedly failed. The decision for an underwater breakwater was finally made after 8 years. Haeundae District said today that it had established a detailed plan for the Natural Disaster Risk Improvement Project for the Suyang Bay area. The plan includes installing a 500-meter underwater breakwater known as Ianje, 150 meters offshore from the marine city coastline. The total height from the seabed will be 14 meters, with about 4 meters protruding above the sea surface. The breakwater is expected to reduce 5-meter high waves to 3 meters. In international news, Japan is experiencing a significant rise in bear attacks, prompting the government to consider making it easier to shoot bears in residential areas. In the year leading up to April, there were 219 bear attacks, 6 of them fatal. The problem persists as bears increasingly enter populated areas, and some may even see humans as prey. The increase in bear encounters are partly due to Japan's aging and shrinking human population, especially in the rural areas. And now taking a quick look at the weather here. It's currently 28 degrees Celsius in Busan City under clear skies. Tomorrow is forecast to be mostly cloudy, however, with chance of rain from early evening. And that'll have to do it for this hour's news. Thank you for joining us. You're listening to BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Your best choice. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
Coming up next is 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. BEFM Busan 영어방송.
You never know when and where you'll meet some of the most important people in your life. It could be an introduction between a mutual acquaintance, or perhaps it could be a completely unexpected meeting at some kind of event, or maybe even just a run-in on public transportation. Whatever the case may be, these people might become your friends, and we need friends in our lives. Today, we're going to talk about some other ways to make good friends for life. It's Friday, July 12th. This is the 2 p.m. Reboot. Let's get it started.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot on this Friday afternoon. And a good afternoon to you, Choi Hee-suk Nim, as well. Thank you. Thanks for the message. And I'm your host, Casey McKeever. Happy to be with you. Can we be friends? Of course. You just listened to the song, Why Can't We Be Friends by War to start the show off. And that song goes back a little while. The band actually got the idea for that song when they were traveling in Japan in the early 1970s. And according to the drummer for War, Harold Brown, he says, we're all connected by language and by our food and by our culture. Most racists don't know that they're racist or why they're racist. But you pick them up and take them over and drop them in a country like India or Pakistan, guess what? Why can't we be friends? Because all of a sudden you find out we're more alike inside than we are on the outside. We started realizing that's really important. You travel all over the world, you can't speak a lot of their language, but one thing they do know, they know your body language, how you may react. And I guess that's why music is transcendent, right? Because it's, sure, language is a large part of the songs we listen to, but it's not the only part we're listening to, right? We're listening to the actual performances behind it, right? And I guess when you actually watch music in person, you can feel that even more deeply. Cool, yes. Well, we're coming to you live in the studio in Busan on this Friday afternoon. You're listening to us on BEFM 90.5 here in Busan and 103.3 FM in Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're broadcasting on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on GFN 98.7 FM. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you might be on this Friday. We got a little bit of sunshine in Busan here today. I was happy to see, finally. I hope you're having some good weather wherever you're at as well. And of course, if you want to join us on YouTube, you may do so. Just search BEFM or Busan영어방송. I should let you know there is a music copyright issue, though, so we won't be able to stream the music we play throughout the show on YouTube. It will be muted at that time. I apologize for the inconvenience, but of course, the show is uninterrupted on FM radio, and if you download our smartphone app, if you go to your app store on your if you go to the app store on your phone, that is, you can search BEFM or Busan영어방송, download the smartphone app, and of course you can contact us on the smartphone app as well. You can log in, send us some messages, tell me how the weather is where you're at. I hope it's not too hot, not too steamy, not too humid, but I suspect it probably is, right? We just had a bunch of rain, and what follows that? Heat and humidity. Ugh. So hang in there with that for sure. We've got a lot coming up for you on the show today. In hour one, we're going to listen to Hot Off the Press. This is two songs where we have recently picked from the world of music that have just come out. They're new, recently released, and we're going to tell you about both the song and the artist behind them. And also today is Friday, so we have Weekend Wanderer, but we have Eric coming in today for Weekend Wanderer, filling in for Jeff, and he's going to talk about a lot of the things that are happening in and around Busan this weekend. A lot going on despite the unpredictable weather. And of course, we've got, in hour number two, we've got our daily list. Can you guess what we're talking about today? I was talking about friends. War was asking, why can't we be friends? Yes, friends are important people in our lives. And sometimes it's much easier to make friends when you're young, especially on the playground, you know, hanging out at elementary school where everybody's kind of stuck together as kids and trying to figure out who likes who. But, you know, when you get older, sometimes it's not as easy to make friends. So today on our daily list, we're going to have a short guide to making new friends as an adult. Something I should probably listen to myself carefully. And then because today is Friday, we've got the Friday Spotlight coming up. This is our newer segment, and I introduce some local musicians or artists or performers who live and work here in Busan, or sometimes who are coming here to perform in Busan. This Friday, we've got Bandits coming up. We've got one of the members from the group Bandits, which is kind of a group from Ulsan and Busan combined. And I'm excited about that. We'll be playing some music from Bandits as well. And also, we're going to have our perfect playlist. This is the last day for the perfect playlist for this week's theme of best cover songs. And we've got some really good ones coming up for you today. So I'm excited about that as well. And of course, I'll be checking your messages throughout the show. What should you tell me? Anything you want. Tell me how you're doing today. Tell me how the weather is. Tell me how you're feeling on Friday. But also, I'm curious about how you make friends. That is my question for today. How do you usually make new friends? 새로운 친구를 어떻게 만드나요? You can reach us here at shop 9050 or pound 9050 for 100 won. Of course, you can message us on Kakao Talk for free if you just search BEFM or 부산영어방송. You can add us and then send us messages. And as I mentioned before, you can download the smartphone app in your, if you go to the App Store on your phone, just search BEFM or 부산영어방송 there. Download our smartphone app. You can message us. You can also take us on the road with you. Listen to us as you go for a walk on the sunny, partly cloudy, looks like, Friday afternoon. So think about that. How do you usually make new friends, or where? You can answer that in any way, which way you want to. I usually make new friends by playing music. So that has been my experience. Most of my friends have been musicians, and I usually end up playing songs together with them, either, band and band or within the same band, and I've made friends that way as well. So I'm curious about you. How do most people make friends? I'm not sure. Let me know. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Imaginary Friends by Japanese Wallpaper, and then we'll be back with Hot Off the Press. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard Imaginary Friends by Japanese Wallpaper. It's all about friends today, right? And I see your messages. I will get to those right after Hot Off the Press if I can squeeze them in. We've got Hot Off the Press for you every day, Monday through Friday. And we bring you two of the newest, hottest tracks from around the world of music. And there are so many released every week, but we try to pick some of the best ones that we think you will enjoy. And I think most people are familiar with the first band we've got today. Our first song is all run together here. It says, Feels Like I'm Falling in Love, all in one word, by Coldplay. And according to Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, he draws inspiration from a familiar place for this song, a song so tight there isn't even room for spaces between the words. That's why it's all scrunched together. He'd been in a relationship with actress Dakota Johnson since October 2017, and the song captures that exhilarating, vulnerable feeling of falling head over heels, or perhaps a rekindled spark, or a reflection of their enduring love. Ooh, there's a lot of personal stuff in there. The song starts subtly, with a touch of electronica gradually giving way to a steady beat and Martin's emotive vocals. It builds steadily and morphs into an anthem with a powerful chorus. That kind of sounds typical for Coldplay, does it not? Our second song for today is Never Be Yours by Kali Uchis, and this is a new single. The track is called Never Be Yours, and while it's only just making its debut on streaming services, it's actually been part of Uchis' discography for a decade, so it's not actually new. And like many, the singer actually got her start writing, producing, and recording music at home, so keep at it. Never Be Yours was one of her first official demos, and over the past decade, the song has circulated on a video sharing website, and more recently, a short-form social media, and fans have been begging Uchis to finally release the song. Thus she has. So our songs for Hot Off the Press for today, first, Feels Like I'm Falling in Love by Coldplay, followed by Never Be Yours by Kali Uchis. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. It is now time for Weekend Wanderer, and it's not Jeff this week, it's Eric. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good. Glad to see you.
I'm glad to be here. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, Friday. I made it through the week. How about yourself?
Same, and I'm excited for this weekend. There is a lot to be done, and although we're in the middle of the rainy season, I feel like it's not completely constant, so hopefully there'll be a chance to, get out there and maybe do some things that I'm going to be recommending today.
Cool, yeah. So Eric is filling in for Jeff because Jeff is out in the world vacationing somewhere. He's probably on a plane.
The real weekend wanderer,
right.
wandering farther than I'm going to be. I'm sticking around here this weekend, and there is a lot of things happening.
Yeah, okay, great. Would you like to get into it? What's up first?
Well, there is a couple bits of news, and you should try to stay informed because things do change quite a bit around here.
Right.
First of all, there's this Blooming Water Festival. I don't know if you've ever been to the Let's Run Park in Gyeongnam. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, have you been?
I haven't been there, but this might pull me out because it's a summer event that runs through August 25th. And you know what? It is a water festival.
Right.
I don't know. I've been to a couple water festivals. I haven't tried the 25-meter air slide. That seems like it might be a bit much for me.
Yeah,
I don't know
real.
if you've ever tried any big water slides.
No.
That being said, I do like anywhere where you can get water guns, see some performances, and of course, get some good food. Always at these events, there's some delicious food trucks.
Food trucks,
so,
nice. I'm in.
This is one of those things that you might want to consider. I don't know if that's going to be a little bit too far for you, depending on where you're at. Another thing, though, and this is one that I always try to keep up on, is the stuff happening over at the Bexco.
Right down the street from us, yes.
Last week there was a mobility show,
right?
Kind of paired up with the craft beer festival, but that had actually about 600,000 visitors, 610,000. So I don't know if you got a chance to see any of the new cars or e-vehicles or anything like that. I kind of papped my head in. I didn't get a full chance to look around, but it was very cool. Have you ever been to these mobility shows before?
I think maybe a few years back, before COVID, probably.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I haven't been in a while, but people kept telling me about it and all the new cars, and I just never made the time. So I was not one of the 610,000, but you were.
I was, and that's because, honestly, I could give or take with the cars, but I really enjoyed the car camping. They had a lot of camping vehicles and kind of the latest models. I like that. Although that didn't run for 11 days, it was still on a couple weekends ago, and that was pretty fun.
You thinking about buying a camping car?
Maybe buy a camping car, but, I really enjoy just going over there and seeing what they have coming up in the future. They're going to have a big science kind of conference coming up in a week, I believe. And then they're also going to be doing some other big events there. So, just kind of keep your mind open because there are a lot of exhibitions that happen. And it's nice that we live in a city with an exhibition place because almost every week they have some big event going on. Whether it might be your cup of tea or not, I still think it's worth checking out.
All right.
Now, if you're going to be outdoors, though, I do recommend another little bit of news. And I saw this one. It actually surprised me. There have been a lot of bee sting incidents happening around the city. Over 100 bee sting incidents occur annually in Busan. So, you just got to be careful about bee stings. They kind of put this announcement out there. I've, seen some bees around, but there actually are a lot of flowers and, some different attractions and various beaches. So just be careful about the bee stings.
Have you actually ever been stung by a bee?
I've been stung by, like a little bee, like a long time ago. I haven't been stung by those, crazy. Have you ever been stung by the Asian hornets or anything like that?
No. Yeah, those ones that wipe out entire colonies of other species? No.
Well, they're very big ones. I heard that they're very painful. I hopefully, knock on wood, haven't experienced that or won't experience it. But, wasp stings can be, a little bit more serious than bee stings, swelling, itching, and you could get some kind of reaction to it. So just be careful. And, they say that if stung, remove the stinger by rubbing the skin with a plastic card. So trying to get all of it out and then wash the area in running water. Apply a cold compress and then you should be good to go. Luckily, or unluckily, the rainy season is kind of keeping the bees down a little bit.
Right.
But still, it's something to, just kind of keep in mind if you're going to be outdoors on this weekend. Now, there is one more bit of information that I think is important important part of news, and that is the Museum of Contemporary Art in Busan is temporarily closed until August 9th. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is important because actually I was planning to go down there and take some friends down there to visit because it's one of our best museums in Busan.
I love that building too.
The building is really awesome. If you haven't been down there are a lot of, I guess, interesting, plants and stuff growing on the outside.
On the side of the wall, yeah, right.
And then
Pretty
once
cool.
you get to the inside, it is really spectacular. But they are preparing for the 2024 Busan Biennale that's going to be happening. So you need to consider that. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to the Biennale. It happens obviously every 2 years, but
is it always the same location? It's like kind of spread out through the city, is it not?
It is spread out. There are other places, sometimes in Busan Station. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to be this year, but I know it's going to be at the main part at the Museum of Contemporary Art. So it's going to be closed for a little bit as they, put in these huge installations. The last time I came around, I was really impressed with what they managed to put together. I'm excited for this one, so we'll have to see what's gonna happen. But it is closed, so people, maybe tourists out there, just kind of find another great museum. There's other art museums all around the city.
Yeah, actually, right in my neighborhood, you know where I live.
Mm-hmm.
There's the cultural centers right there, and they've just started an exhibition with like a ton of art from around the world. I think it's called Monet to Warhol, and that's if you're not familiar with the Busan Cultural Center, it's right across the street from the UN Memorial Park, UN Cemetery Park, right? That area there.
And it's kind of one of those, I guess not as common to visit places just because...
Not for art especially. I think a lot of people don't think about it as a big art exhibition hall, but I've seen many really cool exhibitions there. And this one is, I think they said this is like the biggest specifically foreign collection of works that have been hosted there in a long, long time.
Well,
so
it is,
there are other places
I think
to
like
go.
143 works. And this is from the Johannesburg Art Gallery. And, this is one of those things that if you haven't seen it, I don't know if you're a big fan of artwork or not.
I am.
But
I'm an art nerd.
Yeah, this is going to have a lot of these big masterpieces and some lesser known ones.
Right.
I haven't had a chance to make it out there, but it is running until October 27th. There's still plenty of time.
And you say that. And then I know the next thing I know, it'll be like October. I'm like, I still haven't gone yet.
Well, I do think, though, that especially with these kind of events, it is something you can go multiple times to.
I will. Yeah, I hope so.
If you get the chance. And then also, it is one of these really big exhibitions that you're probably going to recognize a couple of the paintings from. And it's something that I enjoy kind of learning a little bit about all of these different artists. Because, you know the famous ones, but you might not get to see some of their, less popular work that other galleries around the world have.
Right.
So with this one, they're really promising some masterpieces, and I'd definitely go and check it out.
So in other words, don't be sad that the Museum of Contemporary Art is going to be temporarily closed.
Yeah.
That will reopen, and there's plenty of other places to check out. I saw also in the news recently that the Busan Museum of Art later this year is going to be getting a big exhibition that's traveling around Korea as well. So there's if you think about it, I haven't spent nearly enough time in the art museums we have all around Busan.
Yes.
So I want to do that.
Well, definitely go and check out these. Of course, here in Centum City, we have the Art Museum, the Busan Art Museum, and that is another great one.
Right.
With the, various collections. It's been a while since I've been there, but I do enjoy that. And, surprisingly, there are a lot of other great galleries between, Hyundai and Dalmaji. So make sure you go and check those out. Yeah,
okay,
are just some of them.
Yeah, and I could recommend the website as well. If you go to busan.go.kr, you'll find most of the museums listed on there, and then they have specific websites for the individual art museums as well. And if you do want to look up the information about the Contemporary Art Museum, you just go to busan.go.kr/MOCA, MOCA, not like coffee, not like that one, MOCA_EN, and they have a lot of information in English. Typically, the best, most up-to-date information will be in the Korean version of the website, though. Because a lot of times they'll list more current exhibitions there in more detail.
Yeah.
So the English website's could use a little work, but they have those as well.
Well, they are working on promoting a bit more English here and there. So
We're doing it right now. Me and you.
I've seen
We're
a
doing it right
lot
now.
of people actually start to say that it's getting a little bit better. The websites, I've noticed that some of the weather websites, and then even there is a big push around the city for an English menu to kind of promote more English menus at restaurants.
Oh, what do you mean?
I don't know if you've heard about that one
No.
before. Well, for me, I don't know if you've had trouble reading some of the menus in the past.
Okay, so like when you go to like any kind of typical Korean restaurant, and they'll
Yeah.
have a Korean version of the menu, obviously, and they don't have a lot of times the English options, or the English might be strangely translated.
Well, yeah, they're looking to assist, the city is looking to assist around 2,000 restaurants. And this is just because it can get a little confusing, especially some of the restaurants I've been to, maybe they have things crossed out by hand and then written in by hand. I mean, I can read Korean fine, but my ability to read handwriting, especially sometimes scribbly handwriting, can
Sure.
be very tough. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've had the same.
I definitely, you should see my ARC card, my alien card. They wrote my new address on the back, and I have no idea what it says. I can neither confirm nor deny my address is correct.
Well, I'm excited to see just more English menus. That being said, I think they do a pretty good job most places, but especially
So what's the
newer
idea?
restaurants.
They just want to help the restaurants like basically improve the foreign language access for
for
visitors?
English, Chinese, Japanese,
multiple languages.
multiple languages. Just accommodating everything to allow restaurant owners to update everything very easily. And I do think that this is going to hopefully kind of spill over and become very common.
Yeah,
Right now, they're kind of giving priority to the, I guess you could say, the A level restaurants, or not based on the food or taste, but on the hygiene. Like A rank, kind of start
see.
from the top and work their way around. And
Some of the most popular as well, I guess.
yeah,
right?
some of the
Or
most popular.
okay.
So hopefully that will trickle down. But honestly, I think people can get by with a good translation app.
Right.
But hopefully you won't need to in the future.
And you know what? Actually, I hope it doesn't take over too quickly, because I just had some guests with me, and I know you've had some guests over the summer. I do like showing off that I can read.
Oh yeah,
It makes me feel so smart when they're like, "Hey, what does this say?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've got you."
But it is better too that they can go and explore the city on their own without your assistance. And I think that I'm
right.
feeling the same way, because although it is nice to take guests, I'm sure a lot of us who are living in Busan have acted as a tour guide at least
sure.
once or twice. It is nice when you can kind of let them go and explore the city on their own.
Yeah, and I definitely did that.
Yeah.
Many days, right? Especially when I was here live on the air. So, but I tell you what, let's take a quick song break, Eric. We're going to listen to Two Hearts by Phil Collins, and then we'll be back with more Weekend Wanderer and Eric. Weekend Wanderer. Eric's telling us all kinds of interesting stuff that's happening, not only here in Busan, but around Korea as well. And we'll probably get to some events all over the place, I imagine, as we typically do on Friday.
Yeah, but we're going to stick around Busan for a little bit right now. Maybe
Good,
I'll
because
share one.
that's where we're here.
Yeah,
We're here.
maybe I'll share one around the greater area in this country. But for now, let's talk about things that are happening over in Busan. I guess you could say over, because there are actually things across the whole city, and starting with a couple things that kind of show up every weekend. I'm sure that, the other weekend wanderer mentions the performances at the Gugak Center.
Sure.
I don't know if you've ever seen any there.
Yeah, a long time ago.
But again,
yes.
I've been hosting guests, and then you tend to want to take them to these things because it does represent, very great traditional Korean music and dance.
Right.
And, there are always some performances going on, and they always have a Saturday performance that people can check out at 3 p.m. I have gone a couple different times. There are some friends who live over there, and I think if you live anywhere kind of close, you might just end up wandering into that beautiful building that they have.
Yeah, it's a nicely designed building.
I feel like a lot of the places that we've mentioned so far, we're going to mention, maybe you've never even been to them because you haven't heard of them, or you thought, oh, maybe I don't need to go and check out, these different art cultural centers. But I'd recommend everyone to take advantage of this rainy season, and then do some indoor activities. Maybe go check out the Gugak Center because it's really a beautiful building with some amazing, not just inside architecture, but also on the outside and around. Another thing that's happening over at the Cinema Center is the Busan International Kids and Youth Film Festival, also known as Biki. That's going on until Sunday, and I'm very excited about this because, I've talked about it a lot.
You're also a film nerd.
Yeah, I've also gotten to go over and talk with some of the people involved in it, and it's just one of those unique kind of film festivals for the whole family. Now, this is important because it is a kids and youth festival. There are different levels, like I guess you could say ratings of G and PG, but
nothing beyond that, probably.
Nothing beyond that. There are a lot of great animated movies for kids, though, first of all. And when for example, let's say the Busan International Film Festival, you take your family, you don't know exactly what you're going to get.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
Right.
But this is fun for the whole family. There is 113 films from 34 countries, including 30 feature films. Now, I've looked through the list, and yes, there are a lot of feature films, but you have to consider a feature is over 60 minutes. A lot of them hover around 63.
So we're not talking like The Irishman, nothing like that.
Nothing
no
too
3 hours.
long. And I think that's important because anyone taking kids to a movie, it's hard to get a kid to sit through, 60 minutes even.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And even if 60 minutes is too hard, there are still 83 short films that you can go and check out. So this is all happening right now at the Cinema Center. They also have some events, especially if you have younger kids who might be interested in making films. They have a filmmakers night. They have a lot of activities and talks to get kids interested in filmmaking. And they offer, some people who actually kids who made films. They showcase some of those. There's kind of a yearly, contest, and then the winner gets to make a film and present it the next year. So
very cool.
This is a really good opportunity for families and people who want to, maybe take a look in the film world. I know it can be a little daunting, but I think now, given the technology nowadays, kids can make these movies on their own. Probably better than me.
And probably with the assistance of AI in the near future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hope kids don't sign up for that soon, though.
Yeah.
We need more controls on that first. But
And again, this is at the Cinema Center, so it's happening. And one of the other great things is that you kind of go over there and you're going to see a bunch of people from around the world. Whenever there's an international film festival, whether it's short film or the Busan International Film Festival, you do get to meet a lot of interesting people
for sure.
Coming into Busan. So I'd recommend just heading over there. And if anything, there's a gigantic covered rooftop that you can play under during the rain.
Yeah.
So that's another. Yeah, that's
There's always
another
skateboarders out there.
great thing to do. Now, if the weather does agree with us, and I say that because every day I check my app and it says it's going to rain for like the rest of the week, but it's not.
And it keeps
here,
switching.
Yeah,
right?
here and it's on and off. It is the rainy season, but you might want to make it over to any of the beaches because they are all open for the summer season. They open from July 1st. Obviously, they go till the end of August, but this is actually a small 2-month window that it's not.
It goes by quick.
It goes by quick, and although the rainy season might eat up a good chunk of this, I'd still recommend going to the beach because you're getting a lot cooler, a lot less sunny, so you don't have to worry about getting burned as much. And
Says
still,
you. I gotta still hide myself. myself.
But still, there are tons of great things happening at every beach. I don't know if you were able to make it to any beaches. Have you gone to any beaches yet this year?
Yeah, we went to Songjeong, we went to Haeundae, and we went to Gwangali. That's the closest one to where we live, so we've been there a couple times.
Well, you know, Gwangali has the new characters. In the past, they've done Pengsu and BTS, and then this year they're doing the Bao family. So pandas are the big theme. I went down there for the twin pandas kind of birthday celebration. They had little cards you could take pictures with and get a little printout. But those characters are still on the beach, and they are really a big pull. I don't know if you're a panda fan or not.
I will be now.
But they are a great choice, I think, for this. Because, you know, there is a fine line between, you know, picking a character that everyone loves and then maybe, most people are fans of BTS, but maybe not everyone. But let me tell you.
I imagine some people out there.
Everybody loves pandas. And they are really pulling some big numbers in Gwangan. And of course, if you go to Gwangali Beach, there are tons of other activities, tons of water, sports, stand-up paddleboarding. I know you have a stand-up paddleboarder come and talk every now and then here. So I would recommend going to do all of those sports and more. You know, all the beaches have something unique to offer. You said you went to Songjeong. Have you been down to Songdo recently?
No. And that was actually on my friend's list of things to do. We just couldn't fit it into their schedule before they left. So that was on the agenda, yeah.
Well, you know, that is on my agenda. That will probably be the last beach. I try to make it to all 7 every beach season.
Yeah.
You know, the one that is something...
Sample the water at each, kind of see.
Yeah, well, you know, I've lived all over this city. And, you know, for example, like down in Darepo, they have the Sunset Fountain show, kind of music show.
And sunset just in general is just like nice to witness down there, right?
It is. Sunrise in Haeundae, Gwangali, and then sunset down there. Both of them are great. I've actually, you know, it takes a little bit more effort to make it to Darepo and then make it up north. I don't know if you've been to any of the beaches up north, but I enjoy those beyond.
Ilgwang?
Yeah, Ilgwang and kind of beyond Songjeong is really nice. But I recommend people go and just try to make it out once because, yes, you do live in a city for those of you who are residents here. But a beach season can go by and you never visit it, not once.
It does happen to me quite often.
And, you know, although, yes, it is one thing to say, oh, I only like it when the, you know, less tourists and stuff. But I really do enjoy all the action that happens on the beach. You know, they have all the lifeguards, they have the umbrellas, everything's set up. It's really nice. So hopefully our listeners out there will get a chance to enjoy the beaches for this summer season.
For sure. And I totally recommend, you know, even if the weather's not great, like there's been a couple days in the past week where I've just I always drive by Gwangali and the weird weather, the weird sea fog creeping in, it's just kind of cool to see. It's very unusual.
It is very unusual. It's been
cool.
like that every single day almost of this where you just get that sea fog.
Yeah.
Sometimes obscuring the bridge view from the beach, you know.
This is kind of like interesting to look at. Like even if you're like, I'm not going to go for a swim today. It's just kind of like fun to walk around and witness this weird, it's been a weird like summer weather, right?
It's been a little bit strange. But, you know, of course, because it's a rainy season, I understand that maybe not every day is going to be a beach day. So there are a couple things that I want to mention that maybe you can go and check out. First of all, do you know Busan has a museum of movies? I've been there a couple times.
Really?
But they're showing production designs right now. So they have different designs of scenes and, you know, kind of showing some famous art directors for Korean art directors on films. This is something really interesting because, again, it gives you a great film experience. You know, Busan is one of the, I guess you could say one of the big film cities in Asia.
Right.
And so it makes sense that they have a museum of movies. If you haven't been down to the museum of movies, have you ever visited it?
No.
It's, again, a beautiful building. I went there because it's close to Nampodong area. You know, sometimes I'll go and check that out as you walk down from Yeongdusan Park, so the tower, Busan Tower. And then
so it's right over there.
Yeah, it's right over there. And, you know, they usually get some interesting foot traffic, but you don't get a lot of it because it's kind of tucked back back a little bit. Still, it's worth going to check out.
For sure, I'm gonna
one
check
of
that
my
out.
favorite museums in the city, and they always put on some interesting exhibitions. In this case, I love how scenes are designed. So, think about art direction, color, and different props and materials that they use. It really is something that, again, another different aspect of the film world. So, make sure you go and check that one out. Also, over at the Citizens Hall, have you been down to the Citizens Park recently?
I haven't recently. Oh, no. Actually, yes. Not maybe a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we did go down there.
Okay, because they have the Sleeping Beauty. It's performances of Sleeping Beauty, Universal
actual
Ballet,
performance.
a
Oh, okay.
ballet, and so I would recommend going and seeing that. Sometimes I feel like I don't get enough cultural experiences just because I don't have time as much.
Right.
But there are so many being offered every weekend. It's worth trying to check out, even if you're not a big fan of ballet, or maybe you've never been to a ballet.
Maybe you don't know you're a fan yet.
Yeah, definitely go
Right?
and see.
Maybe you go and be like, oh, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
See that.
Black Swan.
Go to the Gugak Center and see some traditional performances.
Sure.
There is a lot happening. One more place that I want to mention. Last one is the Busan Maritime Natural History Museum is having this yummy Busan.
Say what?
Yummy
Do we eat it?
Busan. The golden brown Busan. So pretty much it's all about mackerel. I don't know if you're a big
mackerel.
fan of
I am,
mackerel
for
or
sure.
golden. I enjoy it. It's my favorite thing.
It's golden
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are a big fan or
Yes, I
maybe
am.
not a fan,
I am.
You can go and check out the historical significance of this. Again, this is happening. It's been happening for the last month, but it's going on until December 1st. You have a lot of time to make it over to the Busan Marine Natural History Museum. All of these are great places to go explore. I'm just trying to highlight some of the less popular ones. Obviously
I
the
gotcha.
art museum and some of the other big ones are kind of bigger draws, but all these places have something going on. So,
Very
just
cool.
kind of look around and just be aware of, the great things to do during the rainy season.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Sometimes you need to seek cover or just get into that air conditioning to get
Yeah.
out of the right? So cool. Thank you so much, Eric, for coming in for the Weekend Wanderer segment. And we'll see you next week, and we'll talk about some other things that are going on next week as well.
All right, I'll see you then.
All right, enjoy your Friday. So that was Weekend Wanderer with Eric. We're going to take another song break. We're going to listen to Lemon Tree by Fool's Garden, and we'll be back at 3 p.m.
Your bridge to the world. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전 기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 노크존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스코존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
Electric kickboards and electric bicycles are common on the streets these days. With the increased use of personal mobility devices, the number of accidents and deaths have reportedly increased significantly.
Personal Mobility Patrol Mode.
I don't need to wear a safety helmet because I'm only riding a short distance.
Wear a safety helmet. When you drive your personal mobility devices, you have to wear a safety helmet.
Hey, I rented an electric kickboard. Let's ride it together.
Okay, you drive in the front, I'll get in the back.
Follow the number of passengers. Only one person can ride an electric kickboard and electric wheel parallel car.
Follow the rules of personal mobility devices and drive safely. This campaign is brought to you by BFM 부산영어방송.
The time is now 3 o'clock.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever. You just heard the song Free by Haley Reinhart to kick off the second hour of the show. And that was actually the debut single by Haley Reinhart. She was an American Idol singer, and she finished third in the finals and then put out some music. And for this song, she actually filmed a music video for it. I was just looking at it. I was just watching during the song there. And she said it was a dream come true. She said, I had this vision, and the director, Christopher Sims, really brought it to life for me. There's a guy involved, and spoiler alert, he's a pretty handsome guy. She says, it's kind of a motivational breakup song. So I wanted to keep it mature, yet have the playful scenery behind us. We put it out in a 50s-style diner and just kept it playful and fresh. And for me, for some reason, it reminded me of La La Land a little bit of that kind of visual aspect to it. So yeah, fun video to watch. We're coming to you live in the studio here in Busan on this Friday afternoon. Looking a little sunny-ish, still outside. I'm enjoying that. Welcome to the program. Thanks for listening. Of course, we're broadcasting here on BEFM 90.5 in Busan and 103.3 FM in the Gijang, Jeongwan, and Noksan areas. In Seoul, we're broadcasting on TBS EFM 101.3 FM, and in Gwangju, we're on GFN 98.7 FM. Thanks for joining us so much, wherever you might be at today. And I got some messages I'm finally going to get to. Sorry, it's been a busy show. I wanted to know today how you usually make friends. That was my question of the day. 새로운 친구들 어떻게 만들어나요? And I've got quite a few answers here I'd like to share. Let's see. And hello to Saran. Sorry, I didn't get to your message there before. Thank you for saying hello. You can always just message and say hi too. I like that too. Thanks, I appreciate that. Choi Hisuk-nim says, it's a beautiful day today. Yeah, I've been enjoying it too, and I'm enjoying it through the window right now. It looks nice outside. Choi Hisuk-nim says, come to think of it, I'd make friends through English years ago. So learning language. And actually, cool. That's one of the ones I'm going to talk about today on the daily list. Learning a language is a great way to make friends. I just made some friends in my Korean class I had been attending this past semester. Some people I would never have met otherwise, and I met some really cool people by taking a language class. 좋습니다. So I recommend, if you want to learn a language, that's a great way to make new acquaintances that could become really good friends, and you're kind of doing something together. It's an experience you can relate to together. Plus, the idea is you want to get better at learning a language, right? So what a great place to kind of encourage yourself to talk to people, right? Language class, great suggestion. Julie Nim says, I make friends while playing some sports. Cool. That's another one. That's kind of a classic way to make good friends. Pick a sport that you might, want to try, something new, or maybe a sport you're even very good at, and guaranteed you're probably going to have to make some new friends while you're playing on a team or even playing against people. Because, what kind of sport do you want to play by yourself? Even golf, it's more fun to play with other people, right? So good. Sports is another great suggestion. Another message here from 1191 Nim, who says, it's been cool for the last 2 days, so I feel less hot today. It's not easy to make friends after graduating from school. Totally agree, right? School is just one of those places where it's just easier to make friends. 1191 Nim says, even if I have a close friend at the academy, I don't think we can be friends for a long time. And this is the issue that adults run into a lot, right? It's kind of easier to make these friends when you're a child. You kind of grow up in the same area or grow up in the same school. And it's just kind of easier to maintain those bonds over a long period of time. And then when you make friends as an adult later, it's kind of hard to keep those connections sometimes. It takes effort. And that's what's going to be coming up in the daily list today. Effort is kind of key. That's kind of a lot of the big advice. And Lee Kelly Nim also, yes, chiming in there. Yes, group sports. Having the same hobbies, trying something new. Yeah, all this is great advice. If you want to make friends, you kind of have to put yourself out there. The key is you can't really stay home, right? So whatever way that you are thinking about, whether it's sports or hobbies or learning a language or studying something new, the idea is you kind of have to go somewhere, right? You have to go somewhere that you can meet people. So great. Thanks for so much for sending in answers. If you want to send in your way that you usually make friends, you can reach us at 샵9050 or pound 9050 for 100 won. Or you can message us for free. If you message us on Kakao Talk, just search BEFM or 부산영어방송, add us and send us a message for free. Or, of course, if you go to the App Store on your phone, you can download our very own smartphone app. Just search BEFM, 부산영어방송 there, and you can download the app, log in, leave us some comments, and tell me, how do you like to make new friends? 새로운 친구들 어떻게 만드나요? And we're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to The One I've Waited For by Austin Mahone, and then we'll be back with our daily list.
I've waited for.
Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot. You just heard The One I've Waited For by Austin Mahone, and now it is time for the daily list. We're talking about friends today. So we have a short guide to making new friends as an adult because, I mean, face it, when you're a child, it's much more simple. You can just be on the playground and say, do you want to play? Or do you want to be my friend? But it's a little bit hard to do that as we get older. And even, when you're a teenager, it's still kind of easier to make friends. You might be in the same place, whether it's middle school or high school, and there's so much to talk about, so much you might have in common with other people. But as we get older, even our close friends from, elementary school to middle school and high school and beyond, people move away, people get married, people make life changes. So there's so many things that get in front of us that sometimes it's hard to stay in touch with our friends. Sometimes literally because they move away, physically far away from you, and it's really hard to see each other. So loneliness is something that we all kind of feel at different times and to varying degrees, of course. But it can also be really something that's uneasy to admit or be hard to talk about. But it's worth it. It's worth kind of admitting that even to yourself, like, you know what? I need to be around people, or I feel lonely, because according to some studies, if you invest in close relationships, it leads to better health, happiness, and well-being in adulthood. So it's not worth staying lonely. Just kind of recognize that's an issue, and let's work towards fixing that issue, right? So how do you do that? Well, make friends. And making friends as an adult can be hard. It definitely takes time and effort. According to one study from the University of Kansas, 2 people need to spend about 90 hours together to become friends and 200 hours to qualify as close friends. And, maybe that might not sound like a lot in the grand scheme of your life, but if you can imagine how long it takes to get 90 hours together with a friend, and that, I assume, is not just watching, 80 movies together, right? That probably doesn't count. So you probably have to have 90 hours of actual engagement with another person to become their friend. And usually, in many cases, the basis of making a friend is having some kind of shared experience. That's often easier to do when you're younger, but once those easy opportunities are gone, you can kind of forget how to meet people initially. You have to put a little more effort into it. So one way to do that is, as we mentioned before the song there, joining a group, perhaps a sports group or perhaps a group of people with the same hobby, or joining a class, especially if it's something you're really interested in, something you have passion for. That can be a great way to make new friends. Another possibility, volunteering. Volunteer for something that you care about. Probably the other people who are volunteering as well have the same passion for you about whatever the cause may be, whether it's the environment or helping people. That's a great way to meet people that you have probably similar interests with, therefore, a lot to talk about. Is it very easy? Perhaps not. It can be a little bit tricky. It can be a little nerve-wracking to try to make new friends as an adult, but it can also be extremely rewarding. One thing you can do that I have kind of slowly done since I have moved to my most recent location, introduce yourself to your neighbors. And that might not feel comfortable at first, but over time you kind of see each other a lot, and you kind of, I don't know, it just gets easier to kind of see each other and smile and don't feel like you have to talk about a whole lot. You can just say where you're going for the day, or, what you're up to or how you're feeling. And very simple, but introducing yourself to your neighbors can be a great way to kind of just put yourself out there. Another suggestion is to sign up to local classes or local groups in your neighborhood. We have a lot of those, what do they call them? Centers, neighborhood centers. I can't remember the translation is in Korean. But there's a lot of, for example, I live in the Namgu area, Namgucheong. Perhaps that's what I'm looking for there. There's a Namgu education center, physical sports center very close to my neighborhood. Plenty of things to sign up for. So yeah, that's one thing. Also, if you're lacking for ideas, don't be afraid to try something new. Perhaps something you've never considered before. Running is not my favorite thing to do, but I could join a local running group or cycling group, and that's a great way to kind of get in some exercise, but also meet people who are, interested in the same things you are. So, for example, if you want to talk to somebody about maybe a language class, there are a lot of online groups that are dedicated to perhaps English-speaking groups. My wife has actually joined one of those as well, and she's made some new friends that way. I have joined a Korean class that was actually sponsored by the city. It was free. It was actually a free class, and I've met some friends that way. So there's a lot of information you can easily search for online, especially if it's like class-related. Take an art class, take a music class, right? There are some tips, however, if you want to go out there and make some new friends. One of them, build your self-confidence because, as I said, trying to make new friends can be a little bit slightly terrifying. You're kind of putting yourself out there and you might feel like, ooh, what if they don't like me or what if they don't want to contact me again? So before you do that, it's a really good idea to build self-confidence. Liking yourself before you try to search for new friends is probably a very important step if you want to build a healthy relationship. Think about first what you like about yourself. And then when you're comfortable with yourself, it kind of shines out of you, right? So you kind of present yourself in the best light when you really appreciate yourself. Another recommendation is find something that you actually feel passionate about. Whether it's trying a new class that you've never considered before, okay, it might not be something that works out over the long term. But if you join something that you really care about, that you have a lot of love for already, cool. Then that's probably going to be much easier to meet people who are passionate about those things as well. So if you love languages, if you love learning languages, cool, that works for you. If you like volunteering, if you've done it before and it makes you feel good, cool, give it a try. Another thing to remember is you are putting yourself out there. If there's nothing ventured, there's nothing gained. And, if you lose the chance for meeting somebody or if it doesn't fit for a friendship at first, cool, that's not actually a loss. That's just an experience. You tried it and it was worth trying again. So it might not work out the first time you try to make new friends or the first time you try to meet people in a new circumstance, but keep trying. It's worth trying. No pain, no gain, as they say, right? Another idea, and this is something that reminds me of what I was talking about with Jeff, it seems like last week or 2 weeks ago, meeting in a neutral place. Sometimes if you try to meet somebody who is unfamiliar and you're kind of not sure where's a safe place to meet, choose an initial environment where you can meet in a public space where, maybe not meeting at somebody's home where there's a little bit of pressure about you presenting your home or them presenting to you. So perhaps like a cafe or some public area where you kind of just feel like, this is a neutral place. I feel kind of safe here. One other suggestion, ask questions. If you want to be popular, ask people about themselves and listen sincerely when they answer. A good listener is rare these days, and it's possibly one of the easiest ways to make a good friend is show them that you're a good listener. One final one, don't expect too much. A common mistake is expecting too much from one person. It's more realistic and healthier to have a variety of friends for different reasons. So in other words, if you make a new friend, don't try to put your entire life onto them. Just realize, you may have a connection in this way. For example, if it's your language class. Okay, cool, we relate to each other about this, but perhaps they're not as interested in sports or music or your other interests, and you can make other friends for those occasions as well. So that's going to do it for our daily list for today. These are a quick guide for making friends as adults. We're going to take a quick song break. We're going to listen to Mr. Lonely by Bobby Vinton, and we'll be back with our Friday Spotlight. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever, and you just heard Mr. Lonely by Bobby Vinton. I hope he won an award for his acting in that vocal performance. That was entertaining for sure. But now it is time for our Friday Spotlight. We do this every Friday now. This is a newer segment where we introduce local musicians or performers or artists here working and living in Busan, or some who have traveled to Busan to perform. And today we have kind of a combination of Busan and Ulsan in the band Bandits. And I got the chance to talk to one of their members, Ali Savavi. And we've got, I'm going to play a little bit of an interview first, and then we'll listen to one of Bandits' songs. So let's take a listen to the interview.
My name is Ali. I'm from the UK. I work in Korea as an English teacher, and when I get bored, which is often, I play music, I make noise, and yeah.
And why do you do that? Why do you especially make noise?
Well, I think first I should say that when I say make noise, I don't necessarily mean like, sheets of metal being, wrung out, or more avant-garde art pieces. I think that's what comes to mind for a lot of people when they think of noise music. I guess I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, and I just mean making loud music that is energetic, for me, fun, and maybe it's the decibels are a little bit loud. It's not just soft singer-songwriter coffee music, but it's a lot of fun in certain situations.
What is that? What is it? Why do we like noise?
I don't know. Maybe some part of us just needs to hear something that we don't normally hear in the day, and all it takes is taking a guitar, plugging it into an amplifier, turning that volume up really loud, and there's something about that chemistry or the science there, I think. The metal reverberating, it's picked up, it's amplified through the speaker, and maybe it's the history of growing up listening to rock and roll or punk music, but it just makes us feel good.
How many bands are you in?
5 at the moment, 4 4 active bands, although 2 are about to finish. Some members of the bands are leaving the country. One is Goths on the Beach, Busan, Daegu-based kind of, very poppy, very kind of enjoyable, kind of theatrical band. The songs are all about surfing and about Gothic culture, so 2 very opposite things going on there. Comedic in a way. There's a little wry smile in the music, but it's quite fun too.
What do you play in that band?
I play bass in that one. Been playing bass in that band for about 6 or 7 months now, but 2 of the members are leaving, so we are finishing. We're parting ways very soon with that band.
What's another band you're involved with?
So the other one is Lucy Valentine. This is more of a kind of, it's a little slower, it's a little bit more serious musically, darker sound. This band is based in Seoul. I play bass in that band as well, but our singer is leaving. She's going back to the States very soon.
What's your main band?
Bandits is a project that I started about 2 years ago with my friend Andy. So it's just guitar and drums, but we occasionally have a bass player when we play live. And definitely on our recorded material, we use bass and other instruments to fill out that sound. So if you're thinking guitar and drums and it's maybe just a very simple rock and roll sound, I think we're a little bit more than that. We use a lot of pedals, a lot of effects to create like a rich sound, kind of like having keyboard players as well in the band. Bandits is my current, I guess, main project. I play guitar in this project, I sing, I write most of the songs and the lyrics and everything in this band.
Is that a very different experience than playing bass in a band?
Absolutely, yes. I was a bass player for many, many years. Friends have always told me I played bass like a guitar.
And why is that?
I never really went to school for playing music. Everything was, I hate the phrase self-taught, because I didn't learn anything from myself. But I sat down, I had the instrument in my hands, and I just figured out how to make noise through it. So the easiest or the funnest way to play bass seemed to be to, attack the strings, make a big loud sound out of it. But anyway, I did that for years, and then the corona pandemic came along, and suddenly we're all kind of staying safe, we're staying at home. I was working from home for roughly 2.5 years, 3 years almost, and a friend gave me a guitar, So I thought, hey, let me give this a go. And I figured, 6 strings is just 2 more than 4 strings. So if you can play bass, I can play guitar.
And I think that's what a lot of guitarists think about bass, right?
Yeah, they think it'll be easy, right? Yeah.
But it's not quite the same, right?
They are different instruments. There's definitely different techniques to them. I think the people who are, let's say, the best of the best guitar players or the best of the best bass players wouldn't be able to play the other person's instrument, because there is definitely a very solid kind of the way that you move your fingers and your body and your wrist. It's totally different for both of those instruments. But those of us down here in the pits just scratching 2 things together and calling it music, we can flip between instruments and pretend like we know what we're doing. So yeah, I decided to give guitar a go and just started playing at home. I joined a covers band very briefly. We never played any live shows, but it was kind of interesting to just learn some Nirvana songs or Weezer songs or things like that. Simple 3-chord songs that I think every kid does when they first pick up guitar, but I'd never done that until then. And then I thought, well, I know how to hold a guitar. I'm not going to say play. I know how to hold it. I know how to strum it, and I've learned 3 chords. That old punk adage, here's 3 chords, now start a band.
Right.
I learned 2 of the chords and was like, right, I'll start a band now.
And there you have it. So that was the first part of our interview right there. And that just kind of shows you the musician mindset, like you don't have to be completely ready to, show your skills off technically. You don't have to have technical prowess or even go to school. Sometimes it's just, you just need a little time practicing by yourself and then, okay, let's start a band. And that was, I think, great advice. You just kind of get out there and do it. And especially a lot of us felt that same isolation during the pandemic, and we're just like ready to get out of the house. And joining a band or starting a band is a great way to just kind of put yourself out there. So we're going to listen to one song from Bandits first. We're going to listen to the song After Dark, and then we'll be back with the second part of the interview.
Plays trombone late at night. He works for secret lovers. It doesn't matter who it is. Sometimes a night or just an hour. Her sister sleeps alone for days, with midnight flickers on TV. All this time till morning comes. All this time I chase my shadows all the time, and I think in whispers. It doesn't matter what it is or where. These memories just trigger others. Her sister now sleeps in an alternate room. The man with no face watches on. All this time till morning comes. All this time moves in a different way. In the middle of the night, with any luck it'll snow for us, darling. We'll leave reality behind. The sun will rise and colors flow, the new day after dark. With open eyes and arms stretched wide, the light comes after dark. The sun will rise and colors flow, the light comes after dark. With open an arm stretched wide. The light comes after dark. The light comes after dark. The light comes after dark.
All right, that was the song After Dark by Bandits, and Bandits is actually a two-piece band, so I was actually able to record that as a solo track, which is unusual for them. They usually are typically a bit more loud, but also that was a good chance to hear this kind of effects that Ali was talking about when he was talking in the interview. It's, having guitar is one thing, but then trying to fill out that sound is what they try to accomplish. So let's take a quick listen to the second part of the interview and enjoy. So have you been playing music more since you've lived in Korea, or has that been a change?
No, absolutely. More since I've been in Korea. I don't think that England is lacking for opportunity. I mean, you can look for bands in the UK and there are thousands, millions of bands. But I think I just wasn't good enough of a musician to play in bands when I was back in the UK. I was busy with studies. I was, getting on with life. And then when I moved to Korea and I started working, I found a little bit more free time. You know, you're away from family, you're away from your friends, and you kind of go, well, what am I going to fill that time with? How am I going to make new friends? How am I going to engage with this country that I live in? And that's when I started playing music, and I got to meet lots of great people, both foreigners and Koreans, especially Koreans that I don't think I would have met any other way. You know, I'll go play a show in any venue, I'll play with some Korean bands, and maybe the band members don't speak English that well, or not at all in some cases, but we play together, we have fun together, we'd go out and have barbecue after the show, right. And they would get drunk, I would get drunk, and we would try and speak in each other's languages as much as we could. And some of my best friends I've met through that life. And so Korea has been really good in terms of playing music, but also getting to know lots of great people here as well.
If somebody were to come to Korea for the first time and they wanted to get involved in the music scene here, what advice would you have for them?
Well, I think that question could also go to any people who are listening and thinking, I want to play music too. Maybe you've lived in this city, you grew up in Busan all your life, and you've never got together with some friends and made some noise or played a show in front of literally tens of people. So anyway, yes, if you're new to the country or you just want to start making music, playing music, go to a show. I think that's the first thing. There are a lot of venues in Busan, and they're quite easy to find on your social medias. Go to a show, see what bands you like. Maybe you won't enjoy the first show that you go to. Maybe the style of music won't be for you, but keep going. There will definitely be something that you will enjoy. You will meet people that you get along with. You can start talking about, like, hey, I play a bit of guitar, I play a bit of bass, I play some drums. Let's play music together. Let's start a band. Let's get into a studio and just make some noise and see what happens. Even if nothing comes of it, it's kind of like a night out. You get to drink a few beers, maybe, if you're of that persuasion, and then just make some music, make some noise, and have fun together. And that's the best way, I think. Online there's lots of information, but at the end of the day, you got to go down to a show, see some live music, meet some people. That's the best. I mean, that's how I did it.
Right.
I went to one show in Daegu in 2011, randomly, absolute accident, and I discovered a bunch of people who I'm still friends with today, and some bands that I still love from that time. And then I would just go and watch them around the country in other places and discover more music that way, and discover more people and started playing music. It just snowballed from there. If you've ever, thought, I really enjoy listening to this music at home, whatever the band might be, whatever the genre might be, you might think, I just like listening to it at home, it's nice. Or in the radio, on the radio in the car going home. just listening to music here, that's enough for me. It's a totally different experience when you see it live, right?
Yep.
You're in front of the band, you can feel the vibration of the amplifiers kind of going through you.
Wear earplugs.
Wear earplugs, yeah, sometimes. Protect your hearing, kids.
Do it now. Start now.
But, you know, it's just a totally different experience. It's much, much more enjoyable. If you like music, if you like listening to music, just go to see a show. And Busan has a lot of really good things happening at the moment, I think.
I agree. And I'm going to tell you about a couple of great things happening in Busan right now, this weekend. So one thing that Ali mentioned was he plays with a band called Goths on the Beach. They're actually going to have their final show this Saturday, and they're going to be performing with another excellent band from Busan called Soeum Balgwang. That show is going to be in the Gwangan area at HQ on Saturday at 10 p.m., and there's a minor cover to get in, but probably going to be well worth it because this will be the final show for Goths on the Beach and also a chance to take a look at another band that's amazing, Soeum Balgwang. And as for Bandits, for his project Bandits, they're going to be part of a huge event taking place in Haebangchon in September, from September 21st to 22nd, something called the Block Party, and that will be tons of bands from all around Korea. Another definitely a good chance to check out like what people are up to in the music scene and probably go make some friends. And that's kind of what we're focused on here today, right? Ali was saying, obviously, making music together with somebody is a great way to connect with a person and probably become a lifelong friend with. And if you want to check out more of Bandits' music, you can go to banditsk.bandcamp.com and you can hear their music as well there. So thanks again to Ali for doing that interview with me and sharing some of his music. And I'm going to share a song that I think we both appreciate from another band that famously started their band after they saw a concert. This is Joy Division with the song Transmission. Welcome back to the 2 p.m. Reboot with Casey McKeever, and you just heard Transmission by Joy Division. And now it is time for our perfect playlist. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, and we pick two of the songs fitting a theme every week. And our theme this week has been the best covers. So we've played a lot of really interesting cover songs for you this week. We've got two more for you. Today, the first song is Sugar Sugar by Bob Marley and the Wailers. If you're familiar with the original song, I'm expecting it to be quite different. The original was done by the Archies, and it's a very just bubblegum pop song. But this was actually one of the many Jamaican singles that the early Bob Marley and the Wailers released. And this was their cover of the 60s novelty song, Sugar Sugar, by a fictional band, by the way. The Archies was not even a real band. And the unlikelihood of the song makes it, a kind of a funny choice. But the Wailers actually make a pretty good groove out of the song, and it's a very catchy melody anyway to begin with. Our second song today is Take Me to the River by Talking Heads. Now, which one is better? The Al Green original or the Talking Heads version? Well, they're very kind of different approaches vocally, because Al Green is a very unique soul singer, and his voice is really hard to replicate. But I guess what's interesting about that song is his take on it. He was kind of holding something back from his usual vocal performance. It was like trying to get you to come in closer. And that's part of his appeal on songs is like, Let's Stay Together. And so Take Me to the River, a different approach from David Byrne's vocals. And this was a big hit for David Byrne and the Talking Heads as well. They keep the light touch of the original, and they keep the groove as well, which is key. But the vocal performance definitely unique and something probably only David Byrne can come up with. So our two songs for today on our perfect playlist are Sugar Sugar by Bob Marley and the Wailers, followed by Take Me to the River by Talking Heads. Welcome back. You just heard the song Take Me to the River by the Talking Heads, and before that was Sugar Sugar by Bob Marley and the Wailers, and that was our perfect playlist today, and that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us today, and all the messages about how you make friends. I have been your friend and host, Casey McKeever, for today. And of course, please sure to catch the Reboot highlight show at 2 p.m. tomorrow. We're going to catch one more song for today. We're going to listen to Cloud 9 by Bella X. And please stick around for Your Busan.
Push me over cloud